Today we are ranking the albums of Electric Callboy, starting with Bury Me in Vegas in 2012. The first of several albums under this German band's original moniker Eskimo Callboy, clearly inspired by the synth and auto-tune heavy sounds of bands like Attack Attack, who had just dropped their breakout debut 4 years earlier. Except I gotta say, the lyrics here are unhinged. Even as a guy who fights against censorship and leaves room for the argument that it was a different time, this was a lot to take in. I'm not offended in any way, but I was genuinely taken aback by songs like Is Anyone Up, which is basically an ode to the predatory scene girl site of the same name that was shut down and under investigation this same year and landed the founder in jail for 2.5 years in 2015.
Yikes! That's gonna be a fucking yikes from me. Holy shit.
Now, there is enough ambiguity and timing here that you could argue it is actually mocking Hunter more, but given many of the lines and the lyrics over the totality of the album, it seems more like they're just aiming to be as shocking and inappropriate as possible. All in the name of humor, at least I hope so, and I enjoy me some edgy jokes, but at 40 now with 3 daughters, and with the hindsight of knowing about people like Ian Watkins of Lost Prophets, who was also arrested this same year, and the goddamn Epstein files, it's hard to do anything but wince at a lot of this. Plus, I really loathe auto-tune for the most part, so the music isn't my favorite either. So no, when I rank this lower, it's not just on the lyrical content. I just don't really enjoy this style that much either. So it is going to yikes. Glad they seem to have matured a bit since then, but they sure hadn't yet with We Are the Mess in 2014. Yeah, right from the Lil Jon-ass intro and the album art, it's clear that we are in for largely the same ride here. To their credit, I get more of that tongue-in-cheek, we're just doing our own version of what rap songs on the radio are already doing vibe, and that's fair. Punk Goes Crunk compilations and the idea of crunkcore had already been a thing for a while at this point, and it seems like they're playing into some of those tropes. And again, I love a good sense of humor in music. It's something I've always praised Keith Buckley for with his work with Every Time I Die, but this is not even close to the same level. The jokes are just dumb and lazily referential most of the time. I'll give it that it's kind of funny to have a song like Blood Red Lips start out like a more traditional emo-tinged love song only to suddenly derail into something very different. But if that's your only punchline and they are all at the woman's expense, then an unfortunate pattern kind of emerges. And again, I'm honestly shocked to hear myself say these things as someone who regularly promotes all sorts of controversial music and gets a little annoyed with people who get preachy about this stuff. But understand that I don't want anyone canceled and I don't want the albums taken down from streaming platforms again. I'm just sharing my own reflections on it, period.
Message!
I'm sure teenage me would have found it hilarious. To be fair, I still bought Mindless Self-Indulgence, so less pure yikes, but still not super good. Much better stuff in the genre to enjoy even from this era, but I'm gonna put it at okay. Next up, we got Crystals in 2015.
Put your motherfucking ass in the sky!
So this is the album where I feel like they start getting more in stride with their sound of today. They ditch the more shock-focused, misogynistic shtick in favor of something a little bit more Andrew WK with the party aesthetic. They actually full-on cover parts of the Backstreet Boys with Baby TUMH, and I was grinning and banging my head pretty good to My Own Summer, Monster, Walk on the Thin Line, and the title track. But still not as fond of others here like Pitch Bleeze, Best Day, and Too Fat, Too Furious. Not always in love with some of the choices with the electronics and auto-tune, now also complete with dubstep breakdowns, but all in all, fun if uneven with its share of cringe still. I'm putting it at good tier. Then we got The Scene in 2017. Continuing with a similar momentum on this one with the innuendo-filled MC Thunder, which also leans more into the focus on funny-themed music videos. Opener Back in the Biz actually reminds me a bit at times of Mindless Self-Indulgence, and also some credit for experimenting a bit more with the songwriting and dynamics right from the start with that track. And I also dig Nightlife, Shallows, and while the title track is fun, I continue to be anti-cheerleader style vocals.
Everything is bad and everything is sick. Every fucking night is a creative thing. But I know you're just a brave bitch.
Still some tracks that don't do much for me, like The Devil Within, New Age, Calling, Francis, and VIP, but I can hear them tightening up the songwriting and figuring out more of a balance a lot on this album. I would also put this one at good tier, maybe even slightly above the last one. That brings us to Rehab in 2019. So this one unfortunately feels like several steps back to me. They were showing a lot of growth, but for the first time, this one feels really generic, bordering on like octane core. It doesn't have the same fun sense of humor to the tone. I don't know if they were trying to be more serious or what, but it's just not working for me. Honestly, in a way, this one is worse than the debut because for all the lyrical issues on that one, at least it has an identity and some entertainment value. Some decent moments though, like on OK, Supernova, and Nice Boy, but this one is boring. But that brings us to Tekkno in 2022. Now, this was the album that 10 years in the wake of their debut is really what put them on the map, though. With the departure of Sebastian Biesler and subsequent joining of Nico Salak, they really reinvented themselves with this one. The reset really started with the 2020 EP in 2021, making the change from Eskimo Callboy to Electric Callboy official and really striking a chord with the song Hypa Hypa. But then they really expanded on what worked with that, with not only similarly structured songs, but also the, again, highly clippable, comedy-focused music videos that became incredibly popular in the reaction community. I remember my first exposure was the one for We Got the Moves, which stuck with me so much after I ended up playing it for a bunch of normies at a summer cookout, not unlike the one in the video. Just silly and very catchy stuff that leans into the dumb lyrics in a way that is fun, but ultimately harmless in comparison to the earlier material. Along these same lines are also Pump It, which played at the top, as well as the almost infuriatingly infectious Spaceman. Also the pop-punk inspired Fuckboy that I still think was poking fun at MGK's ventures into the genre around this same time. And then Hurricane, which is not a favorite song of mine on the record, but once more the genius of the turn the music video takes for arguably their heaviest breakdown to date is what makes it super memorable. And just plenty to enjoy beyond that with the likes of Tekkno Train, Arrow of Love, and one of my personal favorites, Mind Reader. Just so much fun. It was great to have another excuse to go back to it. It is short, but it always leaves me wanting more, so I end up spinning it on repeat. It is going to best. Before we get to the latest album, just a reminder, if you're enjoying the video so far, to hit the like button. That helps me out in the algorithm, as does commenting below your own rankings, because hey, this is just my opinion. As always, music is more fun when we share our differences. So put your own thoughts down below. But that brings us to Tanzneid in 2026. The title translates to Dance Envy, and that energy is clear on the opening title track with a synth line that is straight out of one of those 90s Mortal Kombat soundtracks. It even has a full-on dance break a little over halfway through, going straight into the metal breakdown. Then we've got the fun Rata-ta-ta-ta-ta, which is arguably one of the best pairings of the many baby metal collabs that we've had over the past few years, and also made its way onto their album Metal Fourth. Big fan of Deeper Cut Heart Club. I feel like this one really harnesses the balance between all of their styles in a way that just really gets my head bobbing, and similar notes for The Savior and Reverie, which also continues to see them stepping up their screams. They better watch it with that Five Nights at Freddy's sounding intro, though. You're on notice. Elevator Operator feels a bit like this album's Spaceman, with the use of hip-hop mixed with the poppier choruses. German actor Uka Bossa is also featured in the music video, with more super 90s EDM elements coming forward. Continuing their experimentation with sounds that are diametrically opposed a la Hurricane, this time we have The Way You Are, which starts off like a full-on boy band love song, only to flip into full deathcore mode. I have to say that some of the impact of this one was lost because I saw it coming. Like, I just know what to expect from these guys now. So the whole song, I was waiting for it to flip the switch, but credit for the heavy part really going for it on this one.
I love you just the way you are.
On the lesser side of things, Hypercharged had a tie-in with Brawl Stars, and not sure how I feel about that. The song's just kind of okay. I also can't unhear when he says, when the beat is kicking in, I first heard with my penis kicking in.
You're being really immature.
The cover of Sum 41, Still Waiting, also feels a bit tacked on, and as intrigued as I was about the unexpected collab with The Offspring on Let the Good Times Roll, it's definitely not one of my favorites. Overall, another fun album, but because I, again, know what to expect now, it's just more predictable, and I also just like the songs on the previous album a little bit more than this one, save for a few. But put them back to back, and you've got a real dance party on your hands regardless, because again, they're both short, so you like combine them, and you've got a good solid like hour of awesome tunes. I kind of hope that they spread their wings a little bit more moving forward, maybe play with a few more genres that they haven't tapped into yet, because I come to them a little bit because I want to be surprised. I want them to like really turn my head with something that I was not expecting to hear. But anyways, I'm going to put this one at really fun. All right, y'all, check out this playlist for more metalcore discography rankings, or this for your personal YouTube recommendation. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.